Gather round for a story that chills the bone, a legend born not in some far-off land, but woven into the very heart of the American South, where the pines whisper secrets and the night air carries old tales. Here, in the rolling hills and fog-laced backroads of Carolina, stories linger like the morning mist, and some are stranger than fiction.
Things you only talk about at the back of the cave.
In the quiet town of Bladenboro, North Carolina, life was simple. Neighbors knew each other, doors were left unlocked, and the days passed in peaceful routine. That is until something dark and mysterious crept from the swamps and forests, turning the town upside down and shattering that sense of safety. This isn't just a ghost story whispered on a porch. In the winter of 1953, the Beast of Bladenboro became a real-life terror, leaving behind strange sightings, bizarre tracks, and a trail of fear that gripped the entire community. Was it a panther, a bear, or something unknown to science? The townsfolk weren't just swapping tales. They were locking doors, arming themselves, and peering into the darkness, wondering what might be lurking just beyond the tree line. Bladenboro, surrounded by dense woods and murky swamps, was a place where tradition ran deep and secrets hid in the shadows. The landscape itself seemed to conspire with the legend, every rustle in the underbrush setting nerves on edge. As 1953 ended, whispers of something stalking the night grew louder. Pets vanished. Strange sounds echoed through the fog, and fear took root in every household, changing the town's rhythm after dark. So settle in as we peel back the layers of this American monster mystery. Meet the brave townsfolk who faced the unknown and explore how a series of strange events snowballed into a legend that still haunts the Carolina pines. Ready? Let's dive in and discover what really happened in those shadowy woods so many years ago. The story begins just after Christmas, December 29th, 1953. In the small, close-knit town of Bladenboro, North Carolina, the air was crisp, and the last traces of holiday warmth still lingered in every home. Holiday cheer lingered, but something sinister was stirring beneath the surface. The comfort of the season was about to be shattered by a series of chilling events that no one could have predicted. Mrs. C.E. Kinlaw heard her dogs barking in terror, their howls echoing through the cold night air, more frantic than she'd ever heard before. Rushing outside, she found two of her beloved dogs dead, drained of blood, with only a few wounds, and strange, unidentifiable tracks pressed into the muddy ground nearby. The scene was both gruesome and baffling. The next night, Woodrow Fussell's farm was hit. The pattern was eerily similar, as if something was stalking the outskirts of town, moving from one homestead to the next. One dog was found dead, its neck broken. Two others simply vanished into the darkness. Fear spread quickly, whispers growing louder with each passing hour. Lifelong residents, people who knew every sound and shadow of the woods, were baffled. They'd seen bobcats, foxes, and even the occasional bear, but nothing like this. This was no ordinary predator. The attacks were too bold, too calculated, and the evidence left behind was deeply unsettling. The attacks were bold, close to homes, and the method was chilling, animals killed and drained of blood. The killer seemed to strike without fear right under the noses of the townsfolk. On New Year's Eve, Patsy Searcy glimpsed a large, dark creature slinking across her yard, long, black, bushy, and eerily graceful. Its movements were unnatural, almost ghost-like. Her screams brought her husband running, but the creature vanished into the night, leaving only cat-like tracks and a lingering sense of dread. Panic grew as neighbors shared their own sightings and fears. Police Chief Roy Forres was flooded with calls, strange screams in the night, missing goats, dead dogs. The town's law enforcement was overwhelmed, and rumors began to swirl. The tracks were a mystery, larger than a dog's, smaller than a bear's, with deep claw marks. No one could identify the animal responsible, and theories ranged from the plausible to the fantastic. The victims were always found bloodless, earning the creature its chilling nickname. Newspapers began to report on the strange happenings, and the story spread beyond Bladenboro. The winter of 1953 was no longer cozy. It was a time for locked doors, loaded shotguns, and listening for the thing that screamed in the night. Families huddled together, afraid to let their children or pets outside after dark. The town's sense of safety was shattered. Even the bravest men admitted to feeling uneasy as dusk fell and the fog rolled in. Each night brought new reports, and the community braced for what would come next. The fear was palpable, and no one knew when or where the beast would strike again. The legend was taking shape, and the fear was real. In every corner store and church pew, people whispered about the mysterious creature haunting their town. The Beast of Bladenboro was no longer just a rumor. It was a living nightmare, stalking the town's dreams and turning them into sleepless nights. The town's peaceful rhythm was replaced by anxiety and suspicion. Neighbors eyed each other warily, wondering if anyone might know more than they let on. People wondered, what kind of creature could do this? Was it a wild animal, an escaped exotic pet, or something far stranger? The answer remained elusive, but the hunt for it was about to begin. Men gathered their rifles and flashlights, determined to protect their families and solve the mystery. The stage was set for a confrontation that would grip the entire town, and the first whispers of winter had become a chorus of fear. By the first week of January 1954, Bladenboro was in crisis. The mysterious creature grew bolder with each passing night, and the sense of dread was impossible to ignore. On January 3rd, Johnny Vouse heard a chilling scream, a sound that was a cross between a cat's meow and a woman's desperate cry for help. It echoed through the darkness, sending shivers down his spine. Suddenly, a large animal charged at him from the shadows. He barely escaped with his life, stumbling back to safety, breathless and terrified. Now, the beast wasn't just killing animals, it was hunting people. Panic swept the town like wildfire. Children were kept indoors, forbidden to play outside, and farmers stood guard over their livestock, rifles in hand, while the streets emptied at sundown, leaving the town eerily silent as darkness fell. Ammunition sold out as citizens armed themselves, determined to protect their families and homes from whatever lurked in the night. Every shadow became a threat. Every flicker of movement set nerves on edge. Every sound from the swamps set hearts racing, as if the darkness itself was alive with menace. Police Chief Flores organized patrols determined to restore order and calm the growing hysteria. He brought in help from neighboring towns and the State Highway Patrol, turning the search for the beast into a regional effort. Search parties scoured the woods, combing through the underbrush and marshes night after night, but the beast remained elusive, leaving only strange tracks and more dead animals in its wake. The body count grew steadily. Dozens of dogs, goats, even rabbits, all found drained of blood, their bodies left as grim evidence. Witnesses described a sleek, cat-like creature, 3 to 4 feet long, with dark fur, a bushy tail, and glowing green eyes that seemed to pierce the night. And always that awful high-pitched scream haunted the night, echoing through the trees and chilling everyone who heard it. The town was gripped by fear, unable to sleep, haunted by nightmares of the beast. And the question echoed in every home. What was stalking Bladenboro? Was it a wild animal or something far stranger? The sense of siege was real. Families barricaded their doors and windows, desperate for safety. The community's unity was tested as fear turned neighbor against neighbor, suspicion and rumors spreading as quickly as the panic itself. The beast's legend grew with every retelling, each story more terrifying than the last. The hunt for answers intensified as Bladenboro waited in terror for the next attack. Every monster needs a name, and soon the press dubbed Bladenboro's terror the Vampire Beast. The name stuck, catchy, chilling, and perfect for headlines. Suddenly, Bladenboro's predator was a national sensation. The story spread, a cat-like creature, strange tracks, bloodless carcasses, and a scream that froze the blood. The legend grew with each article, and the townsfolk became characters in a real-life drama. The name gave shape to their fear, fueling wild theories. Was it a wampus cat, a mutant, or an escaped panther? Police Chief Flores found himself at the center of a media circus, balancing public fear and the need for calm. The Beast of Bladenboro now had a name, a reputation, and a growing legion of fans and frightened observers. The town's panic became a national monster hunt. The stage was set for the next act, the Great Hunt. Bladenboro wasn't just defending itself, it was going after the monster. The legend was now unstoppable. With fear at a fever pitch, Mayor Fussell called for action. A hunt. He deputized local hunters, and with Chief Flores' blessing, the Great Beast Hunt began. Word spread fast. Hunters from across North Carolina and beyond descended on Bladenboro, armed and eager. The town swelled with hundreds of men, their dogs, and enough firepower for a small army. The hunt was chaotic. Flashlights, barking dogs, and shotgun blasts replaced the beast's scream as the soundtrack of the night. For several nights, Search parties combed the swamps, but the creature always slipped away, leaving only fresh tracks and fleeting glimpses. The swamp was its home turf, and it knew how to vanish. After days of fruitless searching and mounting danger, the large-scale hunt was called off for safety. The beast had outsmarted them all. The town was left on edge, the mystery unsolved. The legend only grew stronger. The hunt had failed, but the story was far from over. Bladenboro braced for what would come next. With the hunt over, fear lingered. Mayor Fussell offered a cash reward for the beast's capture or killing. The bounty attracted professional hunters, including Luther Davis and his trained bear dogs. The search became more focused, with smaller, expert-led groups tracking the creature. The town held its breath, waiting for news. Daily updates in the Bladen Journal kept everyone on edge. Then, on January 13th, a breakthrough. A local farmer, Harry Davis, found a large animal in his steel trap. Before he could reach it, hunters shot and killed the creature. The body was brought into town, a big bobcat. Relief swept through Bladenboro. Mayor Fussell declared the crisis over. But was it really the end? Doubts lingered and the legend refused to die. The town's nightmare seemed over, but the mystery deepened. The animal was a large bobcat, over 20 pounds, big but not monstrous. The hunters claimed the reward, and the town breathed a sigh of relief. Mayor Fussell announced the Beast of Bladenboro was dead, but not everyone was convinced. Witnesses insisted the dead bobcat didn't match what they'd seen, a longer, sleeker animal with a bushy tail. The tracks didn't match either. Plaster casts showed rounder, more dog-like prints. Could a single bobcat be responsible for such carnage? Its behavior didn't fit. The attack stopped, but the question lingered. Was the real beast still out there? Some believed the bobcat was just a scapegoat, a convenient end to a terrifying chapter. The mystery remained unsolved. The legend lived on, whispered in the shadows. Bladenboro's fear faded, but its story endured. The mystery deepens when you examine the evidence. The tracks, circular, about the size of a silver dollar with claw marks, didn't fit a typical bobcat. Cat tracks rarely show claws. These did, suggesting something more canine. Yet the shape was cat-like. Plaster casts didn't match the bobcat's paws, fueling speculation. Some thought it might be a cougar or panther, officially absent from the region but rumored for years. The method of killing, victims drained of blood, was sensational, but likely the result of a predator severing major arteries. Still, the efficiency and boldness of the attacks didn't fit a bobcat's profile. A cougar was a better fit, but none were supposed to be there. Could it have been a large feral dog or coy dog? Maybe, but witnesses described something more feline. Each clue contradicted the next, leaving a puzzle with no easy answer. The evidence kept the legend alive. The truth remained just out of reach. The Beast of Bladenboro's story was too good to stay local. Newspapers nationwide picked it up, and Bladenboro became famous overnight. National magazines sent reporters, and the tale of the vampire beast captivated millions. The town saw a surge of tourists and curious onlookers, turning fear into fascination. Local businesses embraced the legend, and Bladenboro became a destination. But the media also brought ridicule, painting the townsfolk as superstitious. The national spotlight preserved the story, ensuring it would be retold for generations. The legend became part of American folklore. The Beast of Bladenboro was here to stay. Why does the Beast of Bladenboro endure decades later? The official story, a bobcat, left too many questions unanswered. The legend taps into primal fears, the predator in the darkness, the unknown at the edge of town. For weeks, Bladenboro lived a real-life nightmare, and that memory lingers. Today, the town celebrates its legacy with Beast Fest, turning fear into pride. The beast is now a mascot, a symbol of resilience and community spirit. The story is more than a cryptid tale. It's about fear, folklore, and the power of mystery. Whether it was a bobcat, a cougar, or something else, the legend left its mark. Sometimes the greatest mysteries are found in our own backyards. As long as questions remain, the hunt continues. The Beast of Bladenboro reminds us, legends never truly die. The story lives on, waiting for the next chapter.